Alright, here we go. First I'm going to isolate the image plane and the back piece by selecting them and hitting Control 1. Then I'll go to my multi-cut tool, hold Control, and I'm going to drop some edge loops which will line up with the screw holes. My goal is to get a vertex along or near the center of every screw hole. So I'll drop an edge loop here, and here, and here, here, and here. Next, I'm going to hit Q, go to Q for my selection tool. Then I'll go to the vertex mode, hold Shift, and start to select all of these vertices that are in the screw holes. Then I'll hit Bevel, which will split the vertices into four vertices. And then I'm going to go through a process and explain it and then speed it up, because you're going to do the same thing for each screw hole. So I'm going to select all four of these vertices. Then I'll go to Edit Mesh, Circularize. I'll add 2 divisions, and then I'm going to play with this radial offset to size the circle where I want it. And I can either use the rotate tool or this twist slider here to correct any twisting that is happening. If I use the rotate tool, I'll need to select all the vertices like this. So now I'll select all of these, then hit W for my move tool and line it up along the hole of the screw hole using my reference. I'll scale this down a little bit. So now I'm just going to go through and I'm going to do the same thing for all of these. Sometimes I'll drag this up to just make sure it's similar to the other holes in size, as close as I can get it. I'm always adding 2 divisions. So again, you select them all, go to Edit Mesh and Circularize, add 2 divisions, and scale and rotate, and then move the circle in place. Great. So I'm going to use my multi-cut tool and click and drag outside of the mesh and across to create an edge loop down the center. That's called slicing. Then I'll go to vertices, select all those vertices and move them up so that there's a middle vertex in that center circular indentation. And then I'll go ahead and do the same thing that I did for all the other screw holes. You won't be able to use the control trick with the multi-cut tool because there are a bunch of n-gons now. That's why you have to slice it. And again, to slice, you just click with the multi-cut tool outside of the mesh and drag across the mesh, and you can create an edge that goes all the way through it. So let's line this up. So I'm going to take these vertices, scale them in, and then vertex snap them to line them up. And I'm going to speed this up. And this next part, all I'm doing is just taking vertices from new edge loops that I created and just straightening things out to make it look nicer and prevent problems in the future. And again, I'm just using the scale tool, the move tool, and then vertex snap. And to vertex snap, remember you can hold V and middle mouse click and drag over the vertex you want to snap your selection to. Let's fix all these n-gons. So first I'll use the multi-cut tool and go from one side to the other and slice it up like that. And I'm going to do that for each one. So you create kind of like a cross or a plus sign, like so, and then go from top to bottom or side to side. And if you do this correctly, each one of these should have quads and no triangles. I'm going to take all of these faces because I noticed that this one is kind of crooked. I'll go to my rotate tool and straighten it out a little bit, all those faces. Some of the others are a little crooked, but I'm not going to worry about them. They're not too bad. Next, I'm going to select all of these faces that represent the screw holes. Actually, no, I'm just going to select, yeah, just the screw holes. And then I will extrude. Hit 4 on my keyboard so I can see how far back I'm going. Hit W and then move these back. And they go quite deep, so just make sure you go back far enough. Then I'll select these, extrude, hit W, move them back, and then go to my scale tool by hitting R and scale that in so we get that nice slope. I want to create some edge flow around the outer point of these screw holes, so I'm going to select the surrounding edges like so. I'm going to do that for every single screw hole. You're going to want to be careful and just make sure you're not selecting any extra edges as you do this. If you do, you need to deselect them. Once they are all selected, hit the bevel tool. Make sure everything beveled as expected, and then go to chamfer and turn that off so that you get an effect like this. And I increase the fraction a bit. Now we have edge flow that goes around the hole. And that's a good place to stop for this video. We will see you in the next one.